Hi guys, it's April and I garden down in southeast Nebraska, zone 5B. And because of where my last frost date hits in spring and all of that, it's time to plant some onions and some celery starts. I have several different varieties that I want to do, and I'm hoping to get them planted out sometime in April, at least depending on how weather goes. So I need several weeks for these to get mature enough that they can handle whatever hits them after I put them outside. I have some seed starting mix. This is just Espoma organic. I wanted to do seed starting mix because I'm just gonna do a liquid fertilizer when they need it. Onions are something that I have done for the past 2 years, and I have enjoyed the experience. And while they're starts in my house, I tend to give them haircuts every now and then all those trimmings I'll use in different dishes and things like that. So it's kind of nice to have them indoors, which is why I like starting them from seeds myself. I have several 6-packs. These are all from Bootstrap Farmer in the pink, because I'm all about the pink life. I've also got the pink tray. I've got a humidity dome over there that I'm gonna put over top of it as well. And I've already gone through and I've labeled all of these. So I'm gonna do, oh my gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 6-packs of onions and 4 6-packs of celery. I have it divided up. Here's the thing. I am only starting my bulbing onions right now. I have a bunch of different varieties of bunching onions that I'm gonna do probably next week. And in truth, whatever seeds I don't use here, I'll probably start then as well and kind of grow them like a bunching onion. The thing about onion seeds, at least what I have found, is the fact that they don't have a long shelf life. So I like to use all of my onion seeds within 1 season. So that's kind of my tentative plan. I've already moistened the soil with extremely warm water to kill off anything that might be living in the soil. And I've let it sit for a little while so that it won't kill my seeds. So now we've kind of just got wet room temperature soil. My idea is to put maybe 3 or so seeds of celery in each cell and maybe 5 or so seeds of onions, because onions are easy to separate when I need to separate them out. And with that being said, let me show you what varieties I'm going to be growing. So for celery, I have this Chinese pink, which I did start last year. Unfortunately, when I planted them outside, we ended up with another very hard frost that just took all of my celery out. So I haven't actually successfully grown celery yet. I'm hoping 23 is the year. And because I'm so optimistic, I also got this pink plume celery from M.I. Gardener. I wasn't initially planning on buying more celery, but I saw this on the website and I'd try it. Now my onion seeds aren't going to be anything exciting to look at. These are all from Johnny Seeds. They're all my bulbing onions that I really like to grow. And I've got the Walla Walla, I have the Candy, and I have the Cabernet. The Cabernet is a red onion, whereas Candy and Walla Walla are a sweet yellow-white onion. I do believe that the Candy is actually a hybrid off of the Walla Walla. I believe that's the case, but I like growing both of these because sometimes I have more success with the Walla Walla and sometimes I have more success with Candy. It just depends on how the season goes. Now, because of where I sit in Nebraska, I'm on this weird border of long day onions and intermediate day onions. So I can kind of get away with trying both types of onions. So I've experimented with several different varieties, and these are the ones that I have always really liked the flavor of, even if they don't get as massive as they possibly can. That's kind of what I like about onions, is you don't necessarily have to wait for them to fully bulb before you use them. If you want them as a smaller, fine. Maybe you can even plant them closer together, but I will be trying to get them as big as possible, which is why I also do bunching onions as well. And of course, I will be starting those later, like I mentioned before, simply because they don't take as long to mature because they're not bulbing up. So I guess we'll just kind of get started. Okay, so I have it set up so that we've got the celery on this side and then it moves off into the onions. So we'll start with the celery, and the first one I've got, these first 2 rows right here are supposed to be the Chinese pink. And of course, they're super freaking tiny. So while I'm going to try and get maybe 3 or so in each, no promises. I'm not gonna be too angry if I get more than I'm supposed to. Just a rough estimate at this point. So in these next 2 rows, I am going for the pink plume. So obviously, I'm not being super careful. I thought I was going to be that person that I was going to be very specific on where I put these seeds. But you know what? I garden in the in-between times when I'm not working or dealing with other things in life. So sometimes you just gotta be okay with whatever happens, happens. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky. These next 2 rows are Walla Wallas, and then this 6-pack back here is also a Walla Walla. But then this one right here is going to be candy, along with the next 2 rows being candy. Good news is, onion seeds are slightly bigger. Last year, I made the mistake of just kind of dumping the whole pack into an open tray. So pulling apart the onions was a nightmare, which is why I got the 6-packs for this season. I was hoping maybe it would make my life just a little easier. So that was the Walla Walla, and now we've got the candy. I'll go back and I'll press all of these down into the soil when I'm done placing the seeds. And then last but not least, in these last 2 rows, I'm going to be doing the Cabernet. Lightly kind of press everything down. Because of how tiny these seeds are, I'm not necessarily going to worry about completely covering them. If they start to have issues, I might come through with a little bit of soil later, but for the most part, I have found that you don't really need to worry about onion seeds or celery seeds because they tend to kind of get pushed down a little bit anyways. And then I'm gonna mist everything so that all of the seeds get moistened. And then finally, humidity though. And I'm going to go place this on the heat mat. So here is where my seedling mat is for now. This is one of 3, but this is my first one. The other ones will get used as I need more space, but most of the time I'm only starting 1 tray of things at a time. I will come back and I will check this probably daily to see if anything's starting to sprout. And when most of the 6-pack has started to sprout, I'll move it underneath the grow lights. I'll also make sure that this stays pretty humid and pretty moist so that those seeds have a chance to actually germinate. But since I have you here, I might as well give you an update on the lettuce seeds that we started a while back. So here are the lettuce babies. As you can tell, some of them are doing a little bit better than others. So we've got our green leaf lettuce that is doing very well. I also think this is a younger seed, which I think is what's happening with the medley mix. I mean, they're there, but they're not as prolific as the green. And then the red just didn't really want to come up. I mean, we've got a few there. So I think that's just a low germination rate. So that's pretty much all there is to starting onions and celery. I mentioned that I'll probably be checking those dailies. I have a spreadsheet where I track when I need to plant, when I plant, and when things sprout and how much I harvest off of that. So I will put all of these varieties into that spreadsheet so I can start tracking them. If you guys want to ever see that spreadsheet or how I keep track of when I need to plant, what I need to plant, and how the season does, let me know. I can certainly walk you through my spreadsheets and things. I will let you know I'm a little bit crazy about spreadsheets, so it's probably more complicated than it needs to be, but I like numbers and I like making charts and I like making things pretty. So it's pretty intense, but it does what I need it to do. I did mention earlier that I will be giving it a liquid fertilizer. I have the Fox Farm liquid fertilizer. This is the Big Bloom. It's not necessarily optimized for all of my plants that I'm growing in as starts. It does do the trick until I get them outside for their forever home. I have messed around with a bunch of different organic fertilizers simply because sometimes what I originally started out with is no longer in stock in the store. And so you kind of just got to improvise. And a lot of times for the short amount of time that I actually have them inside and they're getting feed, it's okay. So that is all I am probably going to do today. Next week is probably all of my bunching onions and whatever I have left seed-wise and what I just planted. And from this point out, I've got a steady stream of every week I have something new that I want to start. So if you want to be on that journey with me, if you want to see how all of that goes, subscribe down below, hit the bell, do all the things to get all of the notifications. I will also have updates on sprouting and how everything is going a little bit more frequently over on Instagram if you want to go follow me over there. But I will definitely have updates over here as well. So choose your own adventure, I suppose. With that being said, I hope to see you guys again in another video, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.